Shalom, I want to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bashem, Yahushai, Bashem, Ha-Rakah Kodash. Double honors goes out to the elder apostles of Great Millstone for teaching us this truth. And I also want to acknowledge all the Akyam who are pushing this truth with sincerity. Alright? I'm going to go ahead and start out. The Spirit has me in Exodus chapter, the second chapter. Okay. And it reads, "And there went a man of the house of Levi and took a wife, a daughter of Levi." All right, so the prophet Moses, which we're reading about, he was from the tribe of the Levites. He was from the Levitical tribes. The original priests of Israel were the Levites, the tribe of Levi. All right, so Moses was of that lineage, of that tribe. Okay, an Israelite by nationality, a Levite by tribe. All right, so it says, verse 2. "And the woman conceived and bare a son, and when she saw him that he was a goodly child, she hid him 3 months." All right, so the Levitical woman, Moses' mother, she had to hide him because in Exodus chapter 1, Pharaoh had gave the decree to kill all of the males in Egypt because Egypt was waxing mightily, and they were a threat to the Egyptians. All right, meaning the Israelites were growing at a far faster pace than the Egyptians. All right, so Pharaoh was concerned about that. So verse 3. Let me see. Actually, let's go to a precept in Hebrews. Go to 11:23. It says, speaking of Moses' account of faith, all right, it says, "By faith, Moses, when he was born, was hid 3 months of his parents because they saw he was a proper child and were not afraid of the king's commandment." See? So the same way the parents of Moses did not, they did not follow the king's commandment. They follow Yahweh's commandments. All right, just like the men of the Lord, we're not going to take that microchip, even though it's going to become a law, because at that time, it was a law for, to kill the male babies that were born, So Moses' parents had the spirit to hide him for 3 months, all right? So we'll go back to... And it's a thing that they did through faith, just like the men of the Lord. When we're not, the Bible tells you that you can't buy or sell without the mark of the beast. All right, let's just go to it. Revelation 13:16. All right, this is the mark of the beast, the microchip, because we're gonna have to have the same faith, just like Moses' parents had. They didn't follow the king's commandment. All right, so in the same fashion, we're the men of the Lord, the elect, should not follow the king's commandment, which is going to eventually be very soon Donald Trump's mandated vaccination and then microchip. That's what we're reading right now here in verse 16, the microchip. "And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads." All right, so Elon Musk has developed a microchip that alters your it cuts off some of your nerves for your brain and some things that stimulate certain things in your mind. When, like, for instance, when you read the Bible, you have a certain stimulation, which builds your faith if you're part of this elect. But what the Edomite is trying to do, Elon Musk, he's created a microchip that will literally disconnect you from your power, because you'll lose that stimulation, when you take that microchip in your forehead. That it's literally designed to there's certain nerves that it distracts and impedes. All right, so you can't, like I say, you read the Bible, you won't get stimulated like you normally would have. But this is not going to happen to the elect, because the elect are not going to be deceived, and they're not going to take the mark of the beast. And then it also says in their right hand in verse 16. All right, so your right hand is dealing with the microchip, all right? Paragma in the Greek, which means a mark or a cutting in the flesh. All right, you look up that word mark in the Greek, and the definition is literally a cutting in your flesh, all right? Etched in the flesh. So that's what that microchip would have to be, cut and etched into your flesh, all right? Either into your forehead or your hand, the two best and ideal spots for that microchip to be to be put, because your hand and your forehead generates the most heat in order for that microchip to be recharged. Okay, the developers of the microchip have mentioned this. Okay, the heat in your forehead and also in your hand is going to generate enough heat to recharge that microchip. All right, let's read verse 17. And that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. All right, that number of his name is in the next verse, 18. It's a 666, right? 603 score and 6. All right, so that 666 already dealing with their UPC codes. That the way people are buying things now is going to be a thing of the past. They're not going to be you're not going to ring up a UPC code. No, you're going to use everything with the mark of the beast, the microchip. All right, but like I say, the men of the Lord will never take a microchip. All right, so if you take a microchip, then you can just that's a that's a destruction, man. You're part of that beast system now. So that's what it is. So the same way Moses' parents didn't listen to the king, the commandment of the king, in the same fashion, that's what we're going to do. We're not going to take that microchip, because eventually, it's very soon, in the near future, it is going to be a commandment of the king. Both the vaccination and the microchip are going to be made mandatory in Babylon, America. All right. So now let's go back to Exodus 2 and 2. No, let's see. Verse 3. And when she could no longer hide him, she took for him an ark of bulrushes, and daubed it with slime and with pitch, and put the child therein, and she laid it in the flags by the river's brink. And his sisters stood afar off, to wit what would be done to him. So Moses' little sister, or actually his big sister, was she followed the basket. That was her brother. She cared about her little brother. All right, she was an Israelite. We have compassion. So she followed to see what would be done to him. All right, let's go to a precept. Exodus 15 and 20. And Miriam the prophetess, the sister of Aaron, took a timbrel in her hand, and all the women went out after her with timbrels and with dances. All right. So there you go. Let me see. Well, verse 2, Salakia. So just like the daughter, Moses' big sister went and followed him. In this case, these women also went out with timbrels and dances. Okay, but just dealing with both of them going out. But anyway, going back to Exodus 2, and we're at verse 5. And it says, And the daughter of Pharaoh came down to wash herself at the river, and her maidens walked along by the river's side. And when she saw the ark among the flags, she sent her maid to fetch it. Well, the Pharaoh's daughter saw Moses in the little basket, and she said, "Hey, go get me that basket." Verse 6. And when she opened it, she saw the child, and behold, the babe wept. And she had compassion on him and said, "This is one of the Hebrews' children." So you see, in a sense, she was like the adopted mother. Pharaoh's daughter was the adopted mother of Moses. So you have an Egyptian woman, Pharaoh's daughter, who becomes the mother, or the woman to take care of, raise Moses up as an Egyptian, even though he was an Israelite, all right? Because you got people that'll come to the camp. We've had, I remember this so-called Negro, this Judite. He came to the camp and he was claiming that Moses was an Egyptian. No, Moses was raised by the Egyptians. He was brought up as the Egyptian. He had all the wisdom. Matter of fact, his wisdom exceeded the Egyptians because he was an Israelite. And anything that any other of these nations do, we do it better, all right? It's just a fact. All right, so where are we going to go to? Verse 6. No, 7. Then said his sister to Pharaoh's daughter, "Shall I go and call to thee a nurse of the Hebrew women, that she may nurse the child for thee?" So she was like, hey, basically she's saying, "Can I go call my mom to nurse this child for you?" So verse 8, and Pharaoh's daughter said to her, "Go," and the maid went and called the child's mother. And Pharaoh's daughter said unto her, "Take this child away and nurse it for me, and I will give thee thy wages." And the woman took the child and nursed it. So, see what's happening now is Pharaoh's daughter offering to pay the mother of Moses to raise Moses. She had so much, he must have been a cute baby, she fell in love. She had compassion on the baby, and it was the will of Yahweh to put that spirit on her, right? Well, let's see. 1 Samuel 17:10, maybe? Nope. Maybe 1 Samuel 10:17. Let me try. I was just trying to find the verse that Yahweh puts the spirit on us to do these things. It might be in Judges. Okay, 1 Samuel 16 is where it is. All right, so I was close. I was going to 17. 1 Samuel 16. And let's see what it says. What did it say? 14. Well, that's not the one I wanted. Let me see. Here we go. I'm gonna try one more. Put a. That's still going to. Okay, let's try 16, 14. Okay, I'm going to move on because I can't find it, but the scripture that I'm looking for, it tells you that Saul is, God put the evil spirit on him to basically hunt down David. But the spirit came from God, you see. So when we're out there teaching, you know, you have to understand that, you know, as a prophet, when you're out there, standing out there in front of these demons, they're getting aroused. You have to keep in mind that Yahweh is the one who sent them there, all right? Both to test your faith and to show you, that, you know, that they're real demons out there, you know, because we've seen the demons rouse up at camp, all right? So let me go back to Exodus chapter 2, and we're at verse 8, I believe. No, we're at 10. It says, "And the child grew, and she brought him unto Pharaoh's daughter, and became her son. And she called his name Moses. And she said, because I drew him out of the water." All right, so let's go to that real quick. Hebrews, go to 11 and 24. It says, "By faith Moses, when he was come to years, refused to be called the son of Pharaoh's daughter." So see, eventually, you know, he decided he wasn't going to be called the son of Pharaoh's daughter through his faith. You know, Yahweh put a spirit on him not to be wanting to be recognized as an Egyptian. He had him. He changed his mind, right? Because Moses, he had everything. He had a high ranking within the Egyptian, you know, people. You know, he was raised by the Pharaoh's daughter. You know, he was a prince. So, you know, all the will of Yahweh. But his parents had faith, and they did not follow the commandment of the king. So let's go to that again real quick, because that's big, man. Let's see. Well, let's go to the commandment. It says, verse 22, Exodus 1 and 22. "And Pharaoh charged all his people, saying, Every son that is born ye shall cast into the river, and every daughter ye shall save alive." So they wanted to keep our women, but they wanted to kill our men, our male babies, the boys. But what does it say? No, that's not what I wanted. So anyway, we just read it. I lost what verse it was. That they kept not the commandment of the king, because, you know, that's what the elect will do. We won't keep the commandment of the king of America, Babylon. But you are going to have 2/3 of our people that will keep the commandment of the king. And that spirit can be read about in you know, in Maccabees. It says, 1 Maccabees 1 and 11, "In those days went there out of Israel wicked men, who persuaded many, saying, Let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us, for since we departed from them we have had much sorrow." See, they'll make a covenant. 2/3 of our people will take that microchip. All right, that they'll make a covenant with the heathen. All right, let me just see. You can find. See, here we go. This is when the Edomites, the so-called white man, was taking over in Jerusalem. All right, Maccabees was like the last line of defense from Israel. They were rebels, you know. Maccabees was the leader, Judas Maccabees. Let's see. Let's just read 1 Maccabees 1 and 48. "That they should also leave their children uncircumcised, and make their souls abominable with all manner of uncleanness and profanation, to the end that they might forget the law and change all the ordinances." See, the Greeks were forcing our people to forget our laws and our ordinances. Verse 50. And whosoever would not do according to the commandment of the king, he said he should die. So then if you didn't do the commandment of the king, your ultimately, your punishment will be death in this time, you know, when the Edomites were taking over Jerusalem and polluting the temple, the tabernacle. All right. So in the same fashion, the Edomite is giving you the, gonna mandate the vaccination, which is a direct violation of the law of Yahweh, or law of God. All right. And then more further, in the further future, he's going to make a mandated microchip. So just like Moses' parents, the elect will not, we won't do according to the commandment of the king, like it says in verse 50. We're going to be looked at as outlaws and fugitives, and Esau is going to come with a great wrath and, try to kill the prophets. But with that, brothers, we got to keep enduring, keep pushing this word. I want to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, B'Hashem, Yahushai, B'Hashem, HaRakah Kadash. Double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone for teaching us this truth. Also want to acknowledge all the Akyam who are pushing this truth with sincerity, all right? Shalom to the elect.